My name is Anna, and I'm 29 years old. I call New York City my home now, but its concrete and steel heart doesn't yet beat in time with mine. I'm not from here. My story began in a small town in Mexico, a world away from these towering buildings and endless streets. I arrived just last week, a solitary figure stepping off a bus into a symphony of noise and motion. Fear was a cold knot in my stomach, but I had no other path to take. My family was depending on me. Back home, my mother's illness has stolen her ability to walk, confining her to a world seen only from her window. My father, his hands worn from a lifetime of labor, is too old to find steady work anymore. My younger sister, our family's bright hope, is still dedicated to her studies. We had nothing left. The silence of an empty pantry is a powerful motivator. I knew I had to be the one to change our story. The memory of my departure is etched into my soul. My mother's hug was frail but desperate, her whisper a prayer. "Be safe, my girl." My father pressed every bill he owned into my palm. It was a humble amount, but it felt as heavy as gold. My sister slipped her favorite bracelet onto my wrist, a simple string of red and white beads. "This will bring you luck," she insisted. "Wear it always." I kissed them all, tears blurring their faces as I turned to leave. The sorrow was immense, but beneath it flickered a tiny flame of hope. Arriving in New York was like being thrown into the ocean. I felt utterly small, swallowed by the city's sheer scale. The streets roared with a constant clamor of sirens and horns. The buildings clawed at the sky, blocking out the sun. I had never imagined such a place existed. I found refuge with my cousin, Maria. She is a kind soul, but her life is a relentless cycle of cleaning hotel rooms. Her smile was warm, but her words were a stark reality check. "You must find work immediately, Anna," she told me. "Life here is a battle, and it is not cheap." I didn't waste a moment. The very next morning, before the city was fully awake, I was on the streets. I walked until my feet ached, going from shops to cafes to schools, my one question a humble plea. "Do you need help? I can clean." Some faces offered a polite smile with their rejection. Some just shook their heads, a silent no job. Others looked right through me as if I were invisible. I was exhausted. My old shoes offered little comfort against the hard pavement, but the image of my mother's face pushed me forward. I could not stop. The greatest barrier was the language. My English was a handful of broken phrases. "Hello, my name is Anna. I want to work." That was the extent of my vocabulary. A deep shyness would wash over me whenever I had to speak, a fear of being misunderstood or ridiculed. But I forced a smile onto my face and learned to speak with my hands, my expressions, my eyes. I tried to connect, to show my willingness to work hard. One evening, Maria returned home with a small, crumpled piece of paper. "A school nearby is looking for a cleaner," she said, her voice tired but hopeful. "Go tomorrow." A job, in a school. It felt like a sign, my first real chance. That night I meticulously washed my best clothes and brushed my hair until it shone. Before sleeping, I clutched my sister's bracelet and prayed with all my heart, "Please let them say yes." The next morning, I was up before the dawn. I put on the lucky bracelet and walked to the school, my hands cold with nerves. I repeated a mantra to myself, "You can do this, just try." As I stepped inside, a woman with short, kind hair and a warm smile greeted me. "Hello, are you Anna?" she asked. Yes, I am Anna, I managed to say. It's a pleasure to meet you. Please have a seat. She asked me simple questions. Where are you from? Mexico, I replied. When did you arrive in New York? Last week. Do you speak English? I looked down, embarrassed. A little. She just smiled, a gentle, reassuring expression. That's okay, she said. You can learn. A wave of relief washed over me. I smiled back, feeling a bit of my confidence return. Yes, I want to learn English. Why do you want this job? She asked next. I spoke from the heart. I want to work. I need money for my family. She nodded, writing on her notepad. Do you have experience? Yes, I said, feeling more certain now. I cleaned classrooms in a school. I cleaned floors, took out trash, cleaned windows. She explained the job. It was similar work, helping the teachers keep the school tidy. Monday to Friday, starting at 8:00 a.m. No problem, I said. I will be here. Then she mentioned the salary, $2,000 a month. My heart leaped. It was more than I had dared to hope for. Thank you, I breathed. Can you start next Monday? Yes, I can. Then, gathering all my courage, I asked a question that terrified me. Can I take English classes? She looked at me for a moment and her smile widened. Yes, Anna, she said. We will provide you with free English lessons. Happiness exploded in my chest, so pure and overwhelming that I thought I might cry. Thank you so much, I whispered. You're welcome, Anna. We'll see you on Monday. Walking out of that school, the sky seemed a brighter shade of blue. The sun felt warmer on my skin. I felt weightless, my feet barely touching the ground. I ran to the nearest pay phone to call Maria. I got the job, I shouted into the receiver. You are strong, Anna, she said, her voice thick with pride. That night, sleep was a distant friend. I lay awake, staring at the shadows on the ceiling, my mind racing. I saw my mother's face, her gentle smile. I pictured my sister in a nurse's uniform, a dream I could now help make real. I thought of my father and how this news would lift the burden from his stooped shoulders. I could help them now. I clutched the red bracelet, its small beads cool against my skin, and kissed it. This was not the end of the struggle. It was just the beginning of the fight. I knew life would remain difficult, but now I had a weapon, hope. I had a job. I had a chance. The kindness of the woman at the school, her refusal to judge my broken English, was the key that had unlocked a new door for me. All I ever needed was a chance. As my thoughts drifted towards my first day, a plan formed. I would be the best cleaner they ever had. I would learn English. I would send money home. I would make my family proud. I came to this city not for myself, but for them. I came here to work, to grow, to become someone they could rely on. Before I finally drifted off to sleep, I whispered one last prayer into the quiet room. Thank you for this day. I will work hard. I will not give up. And for the first time since leaving home, a genuine smile touched my lips as I slept. Monday morning arrived like a promise. The pre-dawn air was chilly, but a fire of determination burned within me. I had a purpose. I put on my clean shirt and black pants, tied my hair back neatly, and looked at the strong, determined woman in the small mirror. My sister's red bracelet was a splash of vibrant color, a constant reminder of why I was here. The train ride was filled with anticipation. I watched the city awaken, clutching the bag that held my simple lunch and a note from Maria that read, "You can do it, Anna." At the school, the same kind woman, Mrs. Davis, welcomed me. She showed me the supply closet, my new domain, filled with the tools of my trade. The list of tasks was straightforward: clean floors, empty trash, wipe windows. I nodded confidently. I knew this work. The first few hours flew by. In the quiet of the teacher's lounge, I worked efficiently, and a teacher who walked in offered a simple, "Thank you." Those 2 words filled me with pride. Later, as I was mopping a classroom floor, I paused to watch the children arrive, their laughter and energy filling the hallways. Their joy was infectious. At lunch, I ate my bread alone, tired but content. A teacher sat nearby. "First day?" she asked gently. I nodded. "You're doing a great job," she added. I wanted to say more, but the words wouldn't come. Sensing my struggle, she spoke slowly. "If you ever want help with your English, I can help." My eyes widened. "Yes, please," I said, my heart soaring. The afternoon brought a new challenge, working with another cleaner named Rosa to set up chairs for a meeting. Rosa was from Peru, and we found a comfortable language between her limited English and my basic Spanish. She was warm and funny. "You work fast," she commented with a grin. "We can talk more," she promised. "I will help you." In one day, I had found not just a job, but the possibility of a friend. When the day ended, every muscle in my body ached. But it was a good ache, the ache of honest work and accomplishment. That night, I called my mother. "Mama," I said, my voice thick with emotion, "I have a job. I work in a school." Her tears of pride flowed through the phone line, mingling with my own. Each day of that first week followed a similar rhythm. I rose early, cleaned the school, and learned. Rosa became my informal tutor, teaching me a few new words each day, which I diligently wrote in a small notebook. "Start with the small words you use every day," she advised, and so I did. "Good morning. I will clean now. Thank you." Each new phrase was a small victory, making me feel braver. On Friday, Rosa handed me a flyer. "For English class," she said. "It's free after work." My hands trembled as I took it. "Thank you so much, Rosa." She patted my shoulder. "We all start small," she said wisely. That evening, I walked into the English class. The room was filled with faces from around the world, all of us bound by a common goal. When it was my turn, I stood and said, "My name is Anna." The teacher's welcoming smile made me feel safe. I was a student again. I was learning. I was growing. Weeks turned into months. The routine of work and study became my life. I sent my first $100 home, kissing the envelope before dropping it in the mailbox. It felt like the greatest achievement of my life. A letter from my sister confirmed it. Mama was getting better with the new medicine. My English improved, word by word, sentence by sentence. I started having small conversations with the teachers. The principal, Mrs. Davis, called me to her office one day, not to scold me, but to praise my hard work and offer me more hours and more pay. I was no longer just a cleaner. I was, as she said, part of our team. One evening, Rosa and I stopped for coffee. "Anna, what is your dream?" she asked. I looked up at the twilight sky, the first stars beginning to appear. I thought for a moment, then the words came more easily than they would have months ago. I want to study more. Maybe one day I can help the children here, maybe even teach. Rosa smiled, a knowing, confident smile. You can do it, she said. You are brave. That night I opened my notebook to a fresh page. My first entry had been, "Hello, my name is Anna." Tonight I wrote a new list: work hard, speak more English, help my family, keep learning, believe in myself. I looked at my reflection in the dark window. The girl who had arrived on a bus, scared and with only a few words, was gone. I was still Anna. But now I was a worker. I was a student. I was a friend. I was strong. I held my sister's bracelet tight, its red beads a symbol not just of luck, but of the love that had propelled me forward and the strength I had found within myself. My new life had truly begun.